Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. I'm Paulette, and I am a part of Brownstone Worldwide, which houses brownstoneworldwide.com. We also have KCCR The Brownstone. You see it over there in the upper, my stage left. Let's put it that way, right? Okay, you can go ahead and download the app today and listen to a ton of great podcasters right now. Also, we have Brownstone Living Magazine, and our job is to help you live the brownstone lifestyle and continue to tell the story and change the narrative of how we tell our stories our way. So today, you guys, on our Lunch and Learn series, you know we like to take an hour and hang out with you guys. So grab your lunch, grab your salad, your baked potato, whatever you're going to do. And we're going to get ready to start talking to a gentleman who is quite the gentleman, right? We're going to be talking to Mr. Ramon Ray today. He is unapologetically positive and passionate about making the world a better place. He's the publisher of bwcdaily.com and zoneofgenius.com, and an entrepreneur who has started 5 companies and sold 3 of them. Now, as the founder of CelebrityCEO.com, he's a leading expert in helping coaches and consultants get more attention for their businesses and be more known to their future customers. Ramon is an in-demand expert on small business success and a sought-after motivational speaker and event host. He's interviewed all 5 Shark Tank sharks and President Obama. He's shared the stage with Simon Sinek, Seth Godin, Gary Vaynerchuk, and other notable business leaders. Ramon's latest book, Celebrity CEO, is all about how entrepreneurs can leverage the power of personal branding. Get to know Ramon better at RamonRay.com. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's bring up Ramon Ray and let's get to talking about all things business. Hey there, how are you?
Paulette, I am great. Your voice is so beautiful and wonderful. I was like, is she talking about me? I was looking around trying to find where Ramon was, and I realized he was right here. Thank you for having me on your show. Great to be here today.
Yes, I'm so glad to have you on the show. I am super excited, and I know that our audience is going to be, and our readers as well. One of the things that I definitely wanted to begin with is, first of all, I was reading through your bio. And listen, first of all, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Listen.
We're going to be bound to each other then. Mutual ballers.
There you go. There you go. So listen, you sold 3 companies.
I did.
Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Because we came here to talk about learning how to, first of all, leverage where you are so that you are your best self wherever you are in life. And so you sold 3 companies. You've built 5. You've got all of these accolades that you have accomplished. So what made you, first of all, decide, hey, I'm just going to go into business for myself? What happened?
Well, and you said we have 4 hours. Now, how much time you said this show goes?
Well, we can break it into a series. Just a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, no, but the summary of it is, and feel free to pull out more, unpack it more. Sometimes I speak in bullet points, but the summary of it is, I'll start there first, is that I didn't really decide, and it wasn't intentional until later on, possibly, until a few years ago. And because I didn't know what to call it, Paulette. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like the basketball player, and I feel myself even tearing up. It's like in my big toe. It's not gonna happen yet, but I really felt, because it's so raw and it's so new for me. But I felt like the basketball player playing ball, just because that's what you do. You just play it. But you didn't know, like across the hall or like in the building, people were getting money for it. Not in a bad way. You just didn't know yet. You were just doing it like until somebody saw you and like, boy, you know what? If I teach you a little bit. So the bottom line is, I was working at the United Nations, had a regular 9-to-5 job, as it were, a great organization, dysfunctional office that I was in, but good organization, and good people were in there who I loved dearly. And then I had entrepreneurship. So started it. Somebody has a side hobby doing crocheting, side hobby taking their kids to softball. For me, for whatever reason, Paulette, it started. The catalyst was a travel agent said, Ramon, my computers need to be networked. And that was kind of the journey of, I had the techie side God put in me, just techie, connected computers, Microsoft Access. Anybody remembers that back in the day? So he called me and was like, Ramon, you've done it for your UN office. Do it for me. I'll pay you a few bucks. So I think that was the germination, I think is the English word, the seed
Yeah.
that started just me having that hustle and
Yeah.
it wasn't for the money per se,
Mhm.
but I'm like, I'm liking this. And then
Mhm.
we can talk later, but I started then a succession of other businesses, small projects
Yeah.
until it got bigger and bigger. And today,
Right.
yes, under my belt, sold 3.
Wow. And so what was that like? Because here's a lot of the things that we hear, especially as entrepreneurs, pass it on to the children. Make sure that you leave a legacy, but you sold them. Now, what would you say to those folks who are building businesses right now and they are looking to pull the children or aunties and uncles and
Sure.
brown skinned cousins them into the fold, and nobody's looking at it like they are, but they want to hold on to it and keep it in the family? So what say you to selling? What was the premise behind that, outside
Sure.
of course, revenue?
Sure, absolutely. Let's talk. 3 types of businesses that I think I can align with, and I'm
Mhm.
just saying this from the top of my head that I shave every Friday over a white sink. Okay, so
Okay. Okay.
that was TMI, but that's how it is. So here's 3 types I can say. Let's say one's building a larger enterprise, generating millions of dollars in revenue,
Mhm.
millions and millions of dollars of revenue that can sustain. It's highly profitable for all involved. You could
Yep.
pay auntie, good salary,
Mm.
cousin, good salary, your
Yep.
team, good salary.
Yeah.
That type of business. I'm all for that generational wealth. You have the team in it, family or not, that can grow it. And let's take that sucker big. And if you do
Right.
sell it years later, it's a lot of money where everybody's happy.
Mhm.
That's one type.
Mhm. Mhm.
Let's go on the opposite side, though. Opposite. I'll get to the middle because I'm in the middle. The opposite side, where you're in the hustle, you're struggling. I'm paying Paulette, my cousin, like $10 an hour,
Yeah.
to sweep in the barber shop.
Right.
It sounds nice, Paulette, but that's, again, God bless anybody who has it. But if you get the spirit, I'm saying that's not really generational wealth as
No.
I'm giving it. So you agree?
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
that's the
Absolutely.
struggle. That's
Absolutely.
just you doing that to survive.
Yeah.
But the middle, how I see it, and I still have a bit more in me, though, is
Okay.
I'm highly profitable. And I'll give you my numbers. My companies have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. They
Mhm.
could generate low millions. I'm very
Mhm.
proud of that. This is not Tyler Perry or some, $30 million
Okay.
business.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me, highly profitable,
Mhm.
working in my home office, I am
That part.
blessed and highly favored.
Amen.
So
Amen.
going to the selling it now, for me and my family, my goals, that is generational wealth because I'm selling it
Mm.
and I am putting aside and I can do other things. So is that, maybe you can say that better than me? Was that helpful as I was outlining it, how Ramon
Right.
does it?
Right, right. And I love that. I love how you said that you were able to do this and it set your family up, whatever that looked like for you. And so it wasn't over here where you got, Tyrone them over here at the barbershop and y'all sweeping up hair and you're talking
Right,
noise in the background and we cussing each other
right,
out over
right,
football. No, that's fine.
right,
But is it really turning a profit? Is
right.
it something that you would want to duplicate over and over and over again? And so, yeah, I can absolutely see that. And so you made a decision to sell. And like you said, it's not Tyler Perry money, but let me tell you something. You eating.
Right. And giving to others and
That
more than
part.
eating.
You're more than eating. You're
Indeed.
enjoying yourself because I've seen
Yes.
you a lot of different places.
Yes.
So you have a podcast, you have Celebrity CEO. Um, I see you on speaking stages.
Sure.
So, okay. First of all, how do you do it? How do you do it?
Sure.
And you're on big stages, Ramon. Like you're not like, and there's nothing wrong with starting somewhere. So
Absolutely.
let's
Got to start
begin
somewhere.
at the beginning. You got to
Yeah.
start somewhere. So let's talk to the audience about how you got started,
Sure.
even being on those stages. And number one, you're great at it.
Thank you.
That's right. We've heard it. We've heard your voice. We know how you sound. And number two, now you're jumping off into more podcasting and you've created like this entire thing. And guaranteed, if you've done it once, listen closely, folks. If you've done it once, guess what you can do? You can do it again.
That's right. That's right.
And you can do it again. And so the question that I have for you, and then I'm going to spin that just a little bit, is how did you end up on stages? Is that lucrative for the audience, right?
Yep.
And how can people be forthright in making those same steps themselves? Because you're not just on stages, just, rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. You're providing amazing value to your audience, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
And I will recap how I make my money just so people understand, because I know for me it can be slightly confusing. I do a lot of different things,
Right.
but I do primarily three things, Paulette. One, I'm
Okay.
a motivational speaker. So
Mhm.
people give me a check to go on stage, and I'll unpack that since you just asked it. And then number
Mhm.
two, there's my media company, as it were. You and I do similar-ish things,
Yeah.
whether it's sponsorship or content, some
Right.
version of that.
Right.
Influencer
Right.
marketing, it's all in one bucket for me.
Mhm.
And or half of that would be selling an asset, because that is a, since I've done it 3 times, it's not an
Yeah.
accident. Having a domain name, serving, so people don't have to say, "Oh, Ramon, Zone of Genius." No, it's an asset, it's value. But
Right.
indeed, I hope that we get thousands of page views, and I will sell that. And then my coaching, celebrity CEO, helping people personal branding. So I just want to level set. That's Ramon's main
Wonderful.
world:
Yeah.
coaching, media, and then speaking. So the speaking part, I think, how it started, and maybe I'll talk about the end of the journey first, and you can remind me to go backwards. But
Perfect.
yeah, thank you. How it's done, Paulette. Everybody has a gift. You have a beautiful voice, and you have your journey
Thank you.
that we've shared in other
Yeah.
times, things you've
Yeah.
done. And I think for me, you have to be good at it. And what does that mean? So since you asked, and I want to help others,
Great.
there's many different types of speakers. Any human can probably get a mic and talk on stage.
Absolutely.
I personally have, by God's grace, the ability to dominate the stage. That's
Mm,
my gift. A
that's
lot of
good.
things I don't do well. Spelling, I don't do well. Typos, you'll know it's Ramon because of typos. If I ever get
Yeah.
kidnapped, all that, you ask the terrorist, "Are there any typos?" "No, it's perfect, miss." That's not Ramon. You don't
That's
have
not
it.
Ramon. I love it. I love it. I love
But
it.
how it is, so my point is, yes. So it's that excellence of, do you move the crowd? Are you attuned to the sponsors? Do you
Mhm.
feed off the crowd energy? Does it sound authentic? Do you have the
Mhm.
intuition to flow? Oh, water bottle drop back there. Let me bring that into my presentation. So I could go on a whole masterclass of speaking, but that is one thing, yes, that I do
Yeah.
very well. And I'm asked over and over again, repeat. I have one client that's had me host their event, I think 5 to 6 years in a row. And they
Wow.
don't do that a lot, meaning
Wow.
they keep
Yeah.
saying, "We need to freshen up." But they're like, "No, Ramon freshens himself up."
Yes. Yes. I love it. I
So,
love it.
and then
That's
how it started, you asked that. The summary of that is, listen, I was the it's true story, but it's anecdotal. It's true story though, is that a friend of mine said, "Ramon, can you speak for me?" And I recall that time period because my son is now 28 and he was playing with little Hot Wheel cars under the chair. So
Mhm.
he must have been 4 years old or so. And so
Yeah.
that was my journey, speaking for free to SCORE, score.org, the
Know
free
who
government
score is.
consulting
Yeah.
service. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't paid, but that's kind of my first memory of
Mhm.
being on a stage and speaking. And the rest then is history. You do it once and you're good at it.
Mhm.
Paulette's going to say, "Ramon, oh my God, can you do this again next week?" Ramon, friend of mine having a awards event banquet. Can
Yeah.
we fly you there to do that? And
Yeah.
you're going to, in the words, and that's it. Your word's going to get out, and then you're going to
Mhm.
go from free to, "Hey, Paulette, can you throw me some tuna fish sandwiches with some bottle of water?" She's going to do that.
Right.
she, she's
Yeah.
going to be like, "We'll pay for the hotel." You're going to be like, "Good." Then it's going to move to, we can give you 1,000 to 5 to 10 to 25,000, etc., which
I
is my
love
fee.
it. I love it. I love it. And so you choose to take on what I like to call an honorarium for your speaking engagements.
Sure.
And so you hit the circuit, but that's not all you do.
Correct.
Right. So like you were saying, we're in pretty much the same spaces. So let's talk about that, shall we?
Sure. Yeah.
Because you podcasting around these parts. And not only are you podcasting, you're on a pretty reputable platform, sir.
Thank you.
So there are a lot of people who want to speak. There are a lot of people that want to build a business. There are a lot of people that want to do a podcast. And there are people that have this propensity to not believe that they have the ability within them. So let's stop right there in this lunch and learn portion. And y'all get ready to sip your tea with your lunch. This is not about business. This is about you and what you believe about yourself to be true. And so, whatever you believe, this is my honest opinion, whatever you believe about yourself to be true is going to show up not only in your life, but in your business. And in that, when you believe that thing, the hard part is everybody else can see it. And it's going to show up in the revenue that you can bring in or cannot. Did you find that to be true for yourself when you made the decision that I'm going to do this? Was there someone in the background with the cheerleading pom-pom saying, "Rah, rah, sis, boom, bah, Ramon, go ahead and get it"? Or did you have to get up in the morning and say to yourself, I got to get this because I know that working over here, United Way, or what was it? You said the United,
Oh, United Nations, United
United
Nations.
Nations. So you were at the United, and it sounds fancy and awesome and amazing. And then you woke up one morning and you said, where it was that, yeah, okay. So see, and you, first of all, there has to be a level of crazy in every entrepreneur.
Absolutely. You have to. You do have to.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What to believe in yourself and to say, it's in me to do this. Was it ever really about the money, or was it something else that drove you, that woke you up every morning?
Sure. I think the challenge of entrepreneurship, as Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank she says, all of us crazy people, Paulette, Ramon, and everybody else listening, or not everybody, but those who wish to identify with us, is that we're so optimistic. Is that we'll keep spending money, burning money. No, Paulette, one more $10 bill, one more $30 bill, it'll work. Nobody's buying your lemonade, Paulette. Nobody's buying your lemonade, Ramon. So there's that aspect of too much optimism. But that's the other side, as you said, a little bit of cray-cray. You have to have, or you wouldn't have, as it were, the Rockefeller, take your pick of whoever, the famous entrepreneur, the Elons of the day. You got willing to say, okay, no one said we can do it. So that's number two. And then number three, yes, I think the aspect of being able to have, a friend of mine, T.M. Hyman says this, have confidence in yourself. This is not a braggadocious, childish, well, to a degree it is, but childish, like I can fly. But, Paulette, as I said, in a way it is. You can't do it, but in a way, no, I'm gonna figure it out. It's not going to be perfect the first time, but we'll move forward. So speaking, yes, is like that for me. Is that, and I think that combined with you have some talents, that's important. Let's face it, everybody's not cut out to do what Paulette does or what I do or anybody else. The talents that you have, look at you out there. But I think I know that I have a certain gift, a grace, and again, I only say that on this show because I want to help others. I don't talk like this normally, but I have a gift. And that I'm learning. So, and to answer your question, I do want to say that because it was important was about the money. It didn't start out that way. And I think that's good. It was the sheer passion of loving what I do. So yes, being excellent at it. But I must say, as we get older, you get more mature, you think of legacy, then you do have to think about, am I putting money aside, compound interest and investments and things that are way beyond leveraging? How do I, look at Paulette, what she's doing. Look what I'm doing. Let me see if I can just ride in Paulette's bus and take a few percentage points. Let me see if she can ride in my bus. Then you start doing smarter stuff like that.
Yeah. So it sounds like a great Reese's peanut butter cup commercial, right? You're the peanut butter to my chocolate. Let's go ahead and get down, And I think that's a really great idea. I think that more of us, and I'm going to even say this, more Black business owners definitely need to consider this model because we're together, we're stronger.
Yes.
And I think that overall, there's this level of our community, loosely termed, has this propensity to be guarded when it comes to doing business with others. And I'm pretty much grateful. I'm going to say that I've met people like you and others within the community that we're in, this business community, who are okay with building and understanding that everybody gets to go to the bank that way. That's right. And that's most helpful. At the end of the day, nobody walks away hungry and looking crazy going, okay, well, wait a minute. What did I just get hit upside the head with?
And in fairness, Paulette, I think some people have been burned. That happens. But that's one issue. Mark Cuban says he'd rather have a piece of a watermelon than half of a grape. So that's number two. And then number three, my friend John Lawson, again, another person, if you don't know him, you definitely should have him on this show. But his business is called Colder Ice. And he talks about historically, and you may know this better than I do, you may not, but is that back in the day, is that, I'll just be frank, Black folks thought, and again, that's why it's tying it, because it could be some residue today, that, the white man's selling ice, it must be colder. Silly notion, but those historical things, which are understandable, I must say, I get it. But so maybe some of that legacy, like Paulette asked, let me think. But Jenny asks, I say yes. Look at that.
What is that about? What is that about?
It's just the historical, subliminal, just stuff.
It's just stuff. And it impacts our community. It really, really does. On the darker side of things. But that's not why we're here.
We're not. That's another show for another day.
That is another show for another day. And I just made a mental note. I was writing it down as you were saying it, right?
I love it.
Because that's a hot topic that we definitely need to dig into. And so you have sold 3 companies. You still have things that you're doing. And one of the conversations that we had was that you've started, isn't it a morning show of some sort?
Yes.
Let's talk about that. And
Sure.
what in the world made you decide, I'm going to get up today, stretch, morning, yawn, and I am going to create my own morning show?
Sure. And as I get into that, let me help people, because I think you touched on as well, Paulette,
Yeah,
about how you can, if you want me to, how you can monetize
absolutely.
with content. Okay, how to monetize with content. What's this game of content? Because we
Mhm.
get, I'm an accountant or any other service, people are paying me for my expertise. Got
Yeah,
it. We
yeah,
get, whatever it is. But here's a few ways though the content game can work.
yep.
One is, of course, advertising. Now that
Mhm.
most people listening probably shouldn't be as crazy as me and Paulette are, because you have to have a large volume generally to get something. Just taking a simple YouTube example,
Yeah,
Mr. Beast, these people who are making millions, that's because they have trillions of views,
yeah,
which many people don't have. But that's one.
right,
You can get
right.
direct advertising from that, of Facebook creators. That's content.
Mhm.
Number two is podcast or etc. You are
Absolutely.
the authority leader, being, you have a great podcast of money management,
Mhm.
and you can get your perfect client on your podcast.
Right.
That's a game that does work.
Mhm.
I'm the accountant. I'm interviewing Paulette, and not a direct, hey Paulette, can you work with me? But over
Yeah,
time, I'm building up a network of people who may want to work with me. So that's two.
absolutely.
Number three could be sponsors. It kind of
Mhm.
the first one already, but sponsors.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to clarify that as you get content and building it up, either you're selling yourself. Hey,
Yeah.
and thanks for reaching out to Ramon Ray. If I can help you fix your phone, thanks for listening to the Fix Your Phone podcast.
There you
you
go.
know,
Yep.
I'm saying something that's not me, just so people can understand the
Mhm.
concept.
Mhm.
But yeah, so what I'm doing here, and multiple content things I do, but there's this community I'm in, Paulette, called Breakfast with Champions. We
Yes.
have live programming at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Love
And
it.
so what is that about? I must say we are figuring out now the full business model of it. But
Mhm.
money aside,
Yeah.
motivation, education, inspiration
Mhm.
every single day starting at 5 a.m. The
Mhm.
community was founded by a gentleman named Glenn Lundy, who's a
Okay.
very successful car dealer trainer. And he said,
Mhm.
Ramon, I want to give this to you to lead and grow this. So we've had events around the country. We have an online platform on Clubhouse.
Come
We
on.
have podcasts, and we're growing. And we'll figure out how
Along
to
the way.
monetize that. But that's what we're doing. 5
Absolutely.
a.m. show called Breakfast with Champions. And those who want to be in Los Angeles, you can wake up at 5, 4, 3, 2, 2 a.m. and
2
join us.
a.m. Y'all heard it first. Breakfast with Champions. Okay. Give it a listen. And so, what you've done is you've gathered together a group of amazing individuals, and
Yeah.
you all sit down together and you talk about things like inspiration, motivation, getting people going. And I think it's a wonderful way to add to your morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? First thing in the morning to get that motivation, get going. And let's talk about that then, shall we? What
Yeah.
keeps you motivated, sir? Because this is a lot.
Yes, it is. It is quite a bit. And sometimes I must say, my friend Marvin Reed, who's a host on Breakfast with Champions BWC,
Yeah.
it may be too much, Paulette. I'm thinking now, am I stretching myself too thin? Just again,
Mhm.
helping others listen. I
Yeah.
I happen to be over indexed to do a lot. I
Mhm.
think that's another gift I have. One gift, which I didn't know was a gift, I can sleep on a plane. And I'm taking a plane. I'll be on a plane to Europe in a few hours.
Oh,
Most people can't.
wow.
I didn't realize that, but I can sleep on a plane at the drop of a hat. So it's a
Mhm.
gift. And
Mhm.
number two, I do have the ability to consume a lot and quickly sort and delegate, which I think you have to
Yeah.
have if you're doing a lot. That means things may not be perfect.
But they
That's
get
again,
done.
that's
Yeah.
you have to. But I have people on my team who make sure if
Mhm.
it's perfect, it needs to be. So I just
Mhm.
want to acknowledge that. But yeah, so I think Paulette, it's interesting about motivation, education, inspiration, and waking up early. I Everybody doesn't have to be this way, but I find that many successful people, we have
Yeah.
some skill set. And
Yes.
it's not going to be the same, but there's something that we do even better than other people. We're
Yep.
extraordinary about it. That's one.
Mhm.
And I know you have your own set of skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number two, the aspect of some sort of self-discipline. I'm not saying what it is. Maybe Paulette's bedroom is messy, but her desk is not. Maybe she's
Mhm.
very detailed on time person, but she can't parallel park. So I'm not saying what is this, right? I'm just saying
Who's
we have
reading
some
my
sort
life story?
of discipline
Yep.
for sure. So I think that discipline is important. And then
Mhm.
going back to morning routines, again, I
Mhm.
want to credit Glenn Lundy, the founder of BWC. He talks about this quite a bit, but morning routines are important. And here's my morning routine. I wake up in the morning and I do about 5 things 99% of the time. I do a set of about 50 push-ups, give or
Yeah.
take,
Uh-huh.
sometimes twice a day. I
Yeah.
drink a bottle of water, read my Bible
Mhm.
and pray,
Mhm.
stretch,
Mhm.
and eat an apple and fruit. That's me. Some people it's
That's you.
journaling or
Yeah.
meditation or whatever version of some of these things they
Yeah.
do. But
Mhm.
that's pretty much, Paulette, anywhere in the world I am,
Mhm.
hotel or
Mhm.
not, that's a daily discipline of mine.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And it sounds like to me what you're saying is get you some regular routines in the
Yes.
middle of everything that's going on, because building a business from one day to the next, you don't know what's going to happen. You could literally, here's my true story. If
Mm-hmm.
y'all can see this behind my green screen, see that? This is my 6 list. I do a 6 list a day. The 6 most important things to do in the day.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I'm done, it's usually about 12 or 13. But at least I got the 6 done, and I'm able to parse out what are the most important things. So we
Mm-hmm.
never know from one day to the next what is going to happen. And so when we get to that point, we have to have a center. And I think having a routine absolutely helps us to have that level of center. So when the world gets crazy throughout the day, you at least know that you can come back to that center. Is that what I'm
Yes.
hearing you say?
That's right. And get recharged, refreshed
Yes.
bodily. I think if your body's
Mhm.
not healthy,
Absolutely.
it's hard to move forward. Again, those who have chronic illnesses, you got allergies, what to do. But if
Mhm.
your body's not healthy as can be, and then yes, your emotional and spiritual state, you need to be grounded. Things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
Who could predict COVID or getting a car crash or your cat getting up a tree,
My
whatever it may be.
goodness. Right. Like who would have thought in a million years that any of that would have happened? But we have to keep going. And let's
Right.
talk about adversity while we're in the middle of this. When
Love
you're
it.
a business owner and when you're talking about monetizing and sponsorship and advertising, that means you're go, 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 go. What happens when you continue to hear, you ready? No, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah. When you hear that, Paulette, I think two things. One, and I've been there, and I'm sure Paulette's been there.
Mhm.
You have to keep going now. As what's the saying? If you're doing the same thing, expecting the different result,
Yes.
it's sanity, whatever. There's a truth to that. But if
Mhm.
you're on the right track, let's take me and Paulette's business. Let's take our
Yep.
business. There are people out there who want to spend money on some version of advertising, influencer
Yeah.
marketing.
Mhm.
They're out there.
Yep.
So therefore, there's no need for me and Paulette to stop. We just have to tweak what we're doing and find the right one that has the open pocketbook. If
Exactly.
you get what I mean, you're an accountant.
Yeah.
Oh, people aren't buying from me. Well, there's businesses out there spending money on accounting. That's a
Mhm.
fact.
Yep.
This doesn't mean you shouldn't stop being an accountant. It means you need to stop going to somebody making $1 per year.
There you
So
go.
there's that. And I'll give you
Yeah.
one story, Paulette. During COVID, when it happened, as it were, meaning when President Trump closed the country, March 20th, I believe it would have been,
My
because I remember
goodness.
that South by Southwest
Mm.
was happening that week.
Mhm.
That's my recollection. Some version of that, January, February, March timeframe. And I produced the Survive and Thrive Summit. Now,
Mhm.
here's the end of the story. But I bought the domain, went back to the relationships I had,
Yep.
put together a landing page, put
Mhm.
together a website, put together content, bring together all the assets I had, and
Yeah.
I sold sponsorships between I think about $10,000-$20,000 to a few companies.
Get out
That
of here.
that fed my family and it gave us some runway
Yeah.
before things started to clear up,
Absolutely.
as it were. So to
Mhm.
your point, Paulette, when bad things happen, it's those of us who we have issues. We're not perfect, but
Mhm.
you have to have something within you that can say, okay, my this happened. This happened. Let me get out of it. And last thing I'll say, there was a video I saw. I think it was true. It looked pretty true to me. But the guy's house burned. I think it was true. The guy's house burned down,
Yeah.
and he had a car crash. And he did a video, he just started laughing with it, like my house burned down. But oh wow, there's a hook. I can wash my clothes in the river and hang it up on this hook. Look, I have a hook. His whole house was gone, and he focused on the hook. So it was kind
Wow.
of
I
interesting,
get
though,
it.
how
Yeah.
his attitude.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's the other thing in this business of being in business and even in the business of life, it really
Mm,
comes down to your perspective of what life is. I
yes.
talk about this all the time with family and with friends and with people that are seeking some type of guidance because they figure with this gray hair, I must have some kind of wisdom.
I'm
I
sure
don't
you
know,
do.
but here's something that I always like to impart into people. When
Mm,
you look at the adversity that is in your life, that is the moment that you must always ask yourself, what is the lesson that I am to learn here? What am I supposed to get and glean from this to take me to the next level of where I'm supposed to be in my life? What
mm.
am I doing here? Coming back here because you didn't pass the class.
Wow, that is powerful.
And
You're right. You're right.
until you pass the class, guess what's going to happen? You're going to
Again.
pass the class. You're going to get the same class with a different. That's it. And
Yeah.
so I encourage people who are in business or in life when we're talking about this lunch and learn, and hopefully we've got some folks that are going to be getting some amazing nuggets from this. I always tell people, always sit back and look at what the adversity is, because all the adversity is the rub that you need to get to the other side. Just like an oyster. Think about an oyster. Don't they get like that tiny little pebble in there and it becomes the rub, right? And what happens after they start to cover up the rub? It
Yeah,
becomes a
beautiful.
pearl,
That's right. That's
right?
right. That's right. That's
So,
right.
what would you like to say to our listeners at this point about adversity in business and even in life to continue to keep going where you desire to go with the song that is in your heart that won't let you sleep at night?
It's amazing you just said the word, the song, because do you know what I was just going to say? Wow, Paulette. Wow.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I'm
A
ready.
friend of mine ish, we're not friends, but a
Okay.
guy named was
Yeah.
John Acuff, his book Soundtracks. Look at
Mm,
that. I didn't know you were going to say that. His book
that's crazy.
Soundtracks talks about going behind, going, looking back at
Yeah.
life, the
Hmm.
abuse, the bullying, the whatever happened, and playing a different soundtrack in your head. Ramon, you're stupid. Ramon, you're fat. Ramon,
Mm,
you four eyes. Ramon, you were on
mm,
welfare for a few part of
mm.
your life. Ramon, you had a child when you were a child. Ramon,
Yes.
yes, I
Yes.
did all those things, but I have to change the soundtracks in my head
Mm.
in order to have big choice. So that's what I would say. Change the
I love it.
sound that's going in your mind, and you may need help if depending on the trauma or how you're indexed.
Yes.
Your daddy did this to you, your mama did this to you, this person did
Yes.
this. You will not be a Paulette, be a Ramon. You won't be able to go
Yes.
forward unless you bring healing to that. Then you can go forward.
Absolutely.
That's what I would say.
Absolutely. Come on. Oh my God. Ramon, this has been amazing. I don't want to waste a lot of your time, but I want to thank you so much for coming
Sure.
on. You guys, this is Ramon Ray of celebrityceo.com. You guys go ahead and check him out. And also, Ramon, tell us where we can find you once again so we can let our listeners and viewers know.
I appreciate it. It's great being here with you, Paulette. Yes, anybody who wants to get to know me better, RamonRay.com,
Yep.
RamonRay.com, and indeed, celebrityceo.com is fine if I can help you with
Come
personal
on.
branding or more. And Paulette, thank you and the whole team that you have at
Oh,
Brownstone Worldwide Studios for having me today.
yeah. I appreciate you hanging out with us. You guys, don't forget to hang out with us every single day in the Brownstone, where we are changing the narrative of how we tell our stories our way. Go ahead and check out Brownstone Living Magazine, where Ramon Ray is going to be hanging out with us inside of the pages. So that's going to be super exciting. And we're going to give you more information about all of his amazing accomplishments and how you can stay connected with him. Ramon, once again, thank you so much. You guys, your lunch break is over. Time to go and get a move on and clock back in. All right, you guys, we'll see you for another edition of your Lunch and Learn Hour. Have a great one.